You are live. Hashtag live. Talking mess. Hello, hello, hello. Let's get ourselves sorted here. We are those people that take a lot of time with stuff, but it's worth the wait. Absolutely worth the wait.
Definitely.
What am I looking for? See your profile. And there we go. Talking mess. Hashtag. Don't want to hear myself.
Nope.
Hello, 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 hello. Who's ever's here? Thank you for joining us. Tag, share, tag, like, share. Hashtag so glad you are here on this Sunday night, which is fun. It's a little bit chilly, I have to say.
It is a little bit chilly. I'm in Dublin and it's a little bit cold.
Hello, hello, hello. Let us know you're here. Thank you for joining. Hope that you've had a fantastic week. Hello, hello, Miss Nat. How are you? So glad you are here. So glad that you are here. Miss Bronwyn, hello. So glad that you could join. Can we just take a moment to just talk about my head wrap?
Sure.
Brandy Rose, she's from Dubbo, hashtag. She does Little Tiny Humans ones as well. You need to go and have a look because it's just so comfortable. Because I thought, because I have a really big head, as you know, and so normally when I love to wear beanies and head wraps and stuff, but normally they're so tight I feel like it's squashing my brain out my ears. This is just so beautiful. It feels like I've got a big heaven cloud wrapped around my head, and I've noticed that I've been self-regulating with stroking my own hair, so it's really nice. So go and check it out. Support a woman in business, particularly a local one for those of you in Dubbo. It is just so comfortable. And like I said, there's ones for little tiny humans as well. Since there's no little tiny humans in my family, I just get the one for the big humans. So,
yeah.
But you can get it to match. So you can wear and you can get the little tiny ones for the little tiny humans. You can wear matching headphones. Oh my God, I love it. Hello, Miss Fran. So how are you feeling, mate? How are you going? What's going on? What's happening? What's doing?
Not a lot's happening with me. We had Arnie's 60th birthday yesterday, which was good. It was good to have the family around, but little drinky poos here and there, and those awesome conversations that you have can get pretty heavy and pretty tough. So I dipped out pretty quick, as that's not my scene. Excuse me. So yeah, I just chilled in, kicked it with the kids inside and stuff like that. So while they were out there being an adult, which is well overrated, would not recommend. I just chilled inside. I kicked it, and they came and kicked with me for a little bit and played tips and be all that. Be a cool uncle and stuff.
Well, it's a good thing you got invited because your family clearly likes you enough to invite you. You know?
Yeah, well, it was here, so
I could imagine it was like, oh my God, let's just do something. It's like, yeah. So I could think of nothing worse personally.
It was like it's hard because you have like those. I guess like we can kind of segue onto this and dive a bit deeper, but those conversations that need to be had don't arise until some form of inebriation happens, and then from there, that's when those deep and meaningful conversations come out. And it's while it's good to get them out, it's like ridiculously tainted because it's not really you having those conversations. And then you wake up and your head's sore and you're like, what the hell happened? So it was just definitely not my scene. My cousin came in and said they were talking about uncle being a part of the silent generation. I was like, yeah, no, that's not the conversation to be having now. And especially on someone's birthday, you don't want to be having that conversation on someone's birthday. Like just enjoy it for what it is and just go out there and have a good time. And but I suppose that was their good time. So if it was, awesome. But just wasn't the ideal of mine.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, and I guess it's a really good example of people's underlying hurt and trauma, and the wound that's still open, and people not having the capacity to be able to have those conversations in a safe space. So we wait until alcohol comes into the mix, so that we're feeling a little bit more, I don't know, brave or
liquid courage kind of stuff happening.
Liquid courage, that's all right. And it normally never goes well.
No.
You know, so I think it's and I think it's across the board. I don't think it's it's an Aboriginal thing. I think it's a human thing, that we have this underneath the surface. We have this issue and this hurt, and rather than talk about I'm hurt and I'm curious about what's going on, or what does that mean, or what was that like for you, rather than having those conversations when people can go backwards and forwards, we have it when there is alcohol thrown in. And they talk about, there's also that that crap about, a drunk person speaks a sober person's mind or something. I don't think that's true at all. You know, I think that people, when they get drunk, they just don't care, so they just let it all out. You do. I know for myself, probably nobody here watching, but I've done things when I have been inebriated that there's no way in hell that I would do, because I was just a fool. Like, I was an idiot. And I'm embarrassed to have you witnessed some of that stuff. It's just like, I would never do that when I was sober. And it's not cool. It's just me being an idiot, because alcohol, I think, makes me funny and stuff. I'm funny without alcohol, so let's be real. But I think, bless you. Bless you.
Okay.
Bless you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm done now.
So yeah, I just wonder about those conversations and the context of. Miss Riri says, "Don't be embarrassed." Oh, hun, seriously, I was just. It was pretty bad. It was not. Yeah, no, I was an idiot. Let's be real. I own that.
True.
I was stupid.
Yeah, and like those conversations are and with family around as well. Like, I guess it's like, I grew up on it, so it was like for a long time it was the norm to have those deep and meaningful conversations, and rarely did I ever see or hear those conversations were had without any kind of, or some form of substance around to kind of, like, I don't know, I guess drop those walls, and like you said, like, you just don't care. So everything comes out, and with that not caring also comes with the fact that you don't say it in that kind of caring kind of way. You can say someone's an idiot, but saying it in a way where it's like, look, I understand you're an idiot, but like, let's just tone it down a bit. Whereas when you're on alcohol and other substances, you're just like, I don't care about your feelings. I just need to get this off my chest, regardless of how you feel. And then whatever ramifications come from it, that's on you. Like, that's what you need to. It's like, well, no, if you're going to have those conversations, it's like, well, let's have them. Let's lay everything on the table in a loving, caring manner. And then from there, let's see if we can find the best way to move forward. If we can, awesome. If not, like, let's just leave it how it is, and then we both bounce our separate ways.
That's right. Exactly right. I mean, how many times, we had the conversations about the meaning of life at 3 a.m. and
so many. Like,
it's like, why are we here? What is our existence? What does this mean? We need to do this in the world. It's like, we have all the time in the world, and you want to talk about it at 3 a.m. Really? Like, really?
Why does it happen that way?
Why? And then, like, the next day, it's like, oh, so you want to talk about that? I'm not talking about that. Why are you talking about that for? I don't even have that conversation. You wanted to have it 7 hours ago, and now you don't.
Yeah, like, you don't even remember half the conversation. So when someone does say those deep and meaningful things to you, you're just like, bro, I don't remember. And then they're trying to have those conversations, but your head's ringing, their head's ringing. It's like that conversation didn't even exist.
That's exactly right. I remember I was in the back of the because my friend, she was a friend way back then, she's not anymore because I don't know where she is, but her baby daddy was a police officer, and we were getting a lift home, and I was sitting in the back with her, and I was like, I don't like her. I was saying to the female police officer in the front, I don't like her. And she's like, no, she's nice. I was like, she's a bitch. I don't like her. And I kept going on. She's like, don't say that. I was like, no, fuck her. I don't even like her. Like, I could have got shot. Like, I could have got arrested. I was in the police car. She could have just like went straight to the thing and arrested me. No, I was like, I don't care. And then the next day it was like, do you remember last night? I was like, no, why? What happened? She's like, you said you didn't like a police officer. I was like, oh my God, our people's history in terms of police is not that good. And I was saying I don't like her while I was in the car.
Yeah.
That was just insane. But I was like, oh my God, I don't even care. I was just like, I don't even like her. I didn't even know her. That's how stupid I was. Don't drink alcohol. There you go. That's the whole thing. Just don't drink. Young people, if you're watching, which is highly unlikely, but don't do it anyways.
Yeah.
And if you're old and you're drinking, stop.
Yeah. No, it was different, and like, yeah, I haven't had I haven't seen those conversations, especially from my aunties and uncles have those really like deep and meaningful to move forward on any kind of subject without any kind of substance. And like not just like now, but literally like forever. No one has had those conversations, and last night was no different. It really like made me think like I didn't want to be a part of that, because I knew that the ramifications without substance for that conversation was never going to be good, but it needs to be had. But under the circumstances of last night, which was alcohol, and I just knew that I didn't want to be a part of that.
Yeah. Hello, Miss Keisha.
Thanks for sharing, friend. What's up, Bronwyn? What up, Nat? What's happening?
Are you on Instagram?
No, I'm not. I left my my little thing at the gym, so no, not this time.
Well, it sounds like fun and games.
Yeah, it was definitely something. No, but it wasn't a bad night. It was just those conversations, and I think that, I guess also like because we've never done it, we don't know how to do it. Like it's almost like when we walk for the first time, like we fucking just have no clue. Like so, it's messy, it's ugly. Like we feel, we just feel like a fool and like an idiot. But over time, like we start to do it, and I guess that that would kind of be the same thing. But no one's looking and want to step out of that comfort zone and look like a fool for whatever reason, and so they just do as they do.
And I guess that's the thing as well, is that we don't get taught how to have those uncomfortable conversations. We don't get taught to sit in the uncomfortableness of it, which is why we choose alcohol or drugs or cigarettes or food or shopping or whatever our addiction is. We choose those because we don't want to sit with the uncomfortableness of that. We also don't know how to sit with not only our uncomfortableness, we don't know how to sit with somebody else's and not take on their stuff and not take on their guilt or their whatever they're feeling. And if they're physically upset or emotional, whatever, we just want to make it better. And so we're just like, here, stop, no, change the subject, have a drink, what do you want? Okay, fine, I'll do it. Like, I'll just stop. And rather than going, this is really healthy, again, which it blows my mind, and I feel like a cracked record. But it shows, I think, people's inability, one, to want to have those conversations, and two, to be equipped to have them.
Yeah.
And also the ability, because there's somebody within our family who knows a little bit about trauma. I don't know who it is. I'm looking around. I don't know. There's someone I know that knows a little bit about that, who does a little bit of counselling and stuff for people with addiction and a bit of trauma stuff. So it's not like there's no one who we could go, wow, like I wonder what that's about. I wonder why, you know, like there's some avenues we could explore with that. And I get that, you know, people aren't ready and stuff, and that's exactly fine. But a perfect opportunity was missed to be able to talk about that stuff, you know, because that's come up now. And so then I'm assuming now it's going to be pushed right back down, you know, because it came up. So it'll be the next thing, whatever that next thing is, you know, rather than being in that space to have the conversation of, because there's a huge learning in that. You know, we talk about, you know, and we use our family as an example because, well, it just is. Like, we're just born into a family and it's just going to be out there. So if you don't like the fact that we share stuff, you probably need to disown us and go and join another family. But, you know, like, we put it out there that we have been through this stuff. We lived through this. You know, there's pictures of your father dialyzing on the side of the road. Like, it's our real life.
Yeah.
And so it's a really great opportunity for us to be going, you know what, like we live with the impacts of the stolen generation. We live with the impacts of that trauma. It's not something that happened way back then. It happened last night at your house. Like it happened with the fact that I didn't even know that it was her birthday and that there was no conversation. I meant to just know clearly because we don't wish each other happy birthday and stuff. So we live with the fallout of all of the non-closeness that happens because of that stuff. And there's a huge opportunity, I think, to have those conversations, which I don't think we ever will.
No, I don't know.
You know, like I don't think we'll get to a place where we go, so let's really talk about what's going on. Because there's a lot of stuff that's simmering under the surface that nobody wants to come up because nobody's in a space to go, what was my part that I played in that? What is my feeling that I have that I don't want to admit or own or feel? You know, what is your feeling and how can I accommodate that?
Yeah.
You know, why do you do the things that you do, and could some of that have something to do with what you've been through? Like, we don't want to have a look at any of that sort of stuff, so we just put a lid on it, put it away, and we'll leave it there for another year till the birthday or the whatever it is rolls around again until we take it back out and be like, yep, so there it is again.
Yeah, and like you're right. Like, I think that like one thing that we don't do well is that sitting in that place and just letting people just talk for the sake of them getting it off their chest. Like, and you know, we come from families of like, you have to heal everything. Everything needs to be fixed. Everything has a place, and you know, all these things. But yet, like, the best way for it to heal is to just let someone just talk about what's going on, like, and just not take it on. Just let them vent, and then be like, cool, like let's go and do something. Like, and then again, like, whether you want to go and have a drink and whatever, like that's not the issue here. The issue is the fact that when we have these monumental conversations that need to be had, we have them, but we have them under like the circumstances of drugs and alcohol.
Yeah. Fran says, my dad's family are like this. They don't have important conversations until they're too drunk to remember any of it. Yep. That's exactly right. And so the opportunity has been lost. You know, imagine if we came together and said, let's talk about what's happened. Let's talk about, you know, Pop's death. Let's talk about stolen generation. You know, let's talk about the split within the family, because, you know, we've got two families. Nan married my grandfather, then she married somebody else. We don't talk to the second family. First family don't talk to the second family. That's split. Imagine if we came together, not the second family, because they don't want to talk to us, and that's up to them. That's their stuff. But imagine if the first family came together our immediate family. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about the reasons why that split was. You know, let's talk about that wound that we are trying to pretend is not there. You know, let's try and mask that. Like, let's pretend that all of the dysfunction that's happening, which is a result of all of the wounds that we still carry, like, let's pretend that we're doing okay with that. This is exactly why I know nothing about our Aboriginal culture. You know, and it's not easy.
This never is.
You know, and I guess we need to be willing to have those conversations, to go, this is really yuck, and I don't know how to say that I'm sad that this happened, or I don't know how to say that I'm really angry about that, or, you know, and then be able to say that into a space and not have somebody take that on, that, oh, so right, oh, so you're angry. Well, let me tell you, like, did you? And just like, no, you know, slow roll. Yeah, that's it. Like, we don't have that, because you can't. I have not seen a family be able to come together and talk about that sort of stuff and go, so this is how I'm feeling right now, and this is what I need to say.
Without, like, I don't think, like, you're right, people don't, like, in our family, don't know how to say that. But then on, like, the flip side of that, people in our family also don't know how to just hold space. And in the fact of, like, we always get, our family always gets things right in the end, but sometimes we just need people to just, like, let them do themselves, whatever that looks like, you know. So you're right. When someone says, like, oh, I'm angry, it's like, well, what do you have to be angry about? You're a kid, like, well, and then that sets off that chain of reactions, like, well, you know, you're disvaluing, like, my feelings and of the situation here, like, you know, they're valid too. This is the reaction of you not taking action. And then it's like, you know, okay, well, and people don't like to be, I don't think it's our family, but people in general don't like to be called out on their shit, when it's like, okay, look, hey, like, you did this, but this is the reaction. And then it's like, okay, cool. Yep, I let it happen. But then also step on to the next thing, where it's like, how can we fix this? How can we move forward? And having both inputs, like, you know, as what's the old saying, kids are meant to be seen, not heard. Like, that was it as a kid. Like, your kids need to get outside. And there was some times, like last night, when that happened to me, like, I had that, like, that uncle just like, get outside, your kids. And it's like, whoa, like, it's a house, my guy. You're inside. So it's like, if they don't want to be outside, let kids be kids. But that, like, whether they're asking 1,000 questions, which gets tired of some real quick. I was like, you know, kids aren't going to have this forever. I'm not going to be here forever. Nan's not going to be here forever. So I was like, let them just be, and then from there, then, you know, whatever happens, happens. So we've got a few comments. Roman says healthy communication is something we're severely lacking as a society, in my opinion. It's a hard habit to unlearn. It is, but is it a hard habit to unlearn, or is it something that we're just not taught or learned? Then Miss Jacqueline says children are so very open in communicating feelings and are incredibly aware of the environment they're in. Isn't at that age where we should be giving them direction and pathways of where it's safe to have those conversations and reassure them their feelings are valid.
Absolutely.
That's
right. Because imagine if we, you know, and it's so much easier to, I can't remember what the saying is, but it's to something about to, it's easier to do something with kids rather than heal broken men or something. I don't know. There's something paying attention to kids.
Oh, isn't that like it's easier to raise kids than to heal broken men or something ridiculous?
Yeah, like something like that. It's about pay attention to your kids. And Jacqueline, that's exactly it in that whole bless you. Imagine if we were allowing bless you space for kids to be able to talk about what it is, because then it becomes a normal, natural thing.
Yeah.
It becomes what, and there's no trying to bypass their feelings. There's no trying to avert it. There's no, this is really horrible. Being able to allow kids to go, because kids will move through emotions really quickly.
Super quick.
They just like boom, like they're gone. They be on the floor in a mess, and 3.5 seconds later they're doing a happy dance, like like it's just gone. When we try to stop them, however, they will throw a tantrum on the ground that lasts for 4 hours. Yeah. As opposed to, seeing them and helping them to be heard. I think it's both. You can be taught as an older person, but it's easier to fall. Absolutely. And it's really about how we can help to own what we feel.
100%.
Because how are we supposed to help kids to be able to own a feeling that we haven't owned ourselves?
That's it. Like kids see us do it, and they just like, I want to do it. I remember Dad being at basketball, and it was like I would copy him. I had no idea what I was doing, but just like being around that and seeing him walk that path, and then I was like, hey, look, I ended up going into the coaching business just because I'm so I'm good at it. But it was kids seeing that, and even though I wasn't like always directly connected to his hip because he would have slapped over the back of the head, I was still in the basketball stadium and I could still look over and see how he would carry himself as like a human, but also as a coach, and then to see the two differ. And then when it was time to come back home and be dad, father and husband, like he was able to switch that off really quick. So, you're right. Kids see those things, and especially if it's good or bad at those imprint years of 0 to 7, like 0 to 7, like I can't remember much, but I remember there was a lot of family gatherings, and there was just a lot of. It seemed like a lot of fun at the time, but yet I also remember that there was a lot of beer bottles and cans and those kinds of things. So yeah, like it seemed really cool, but yet unpacking that memory, it's like, well, like how cool was it if we're having all of this at say Christmas or someone's birthday or barbecue, and then the first hour or so everyone's just happy, and then once that hour's over, that's when it starts to get lit because everyone's on the piss and all this kind of stuff.
That's right. Mitch Keister says, sad truth. I have always encouraged my children to have a voice and have always listened to them, and I'm constantly criticised as being a soft parent or that my kids rule me. Isn't that so sad? That to me grows up beautiful humans who are feeling valued, feeling their worth. Yep. When we're from 0 to 7, we have those two questions that we need to answer. Am I safe and do I matter? So, Keish, your kids will grow up and go, yes, I matter, and yes, I'm safe. And so they'll never have that issue around it. And yet there are so many of those kids who belong to those people who are saying that you're soft. I bet you those are the kids who are having all of the issues that their parents are going to have to deal with because they're not. Absolutely. And because your kids are the souls that we are contracted to look after.
Yeah.
We grow them up, and while no parent I think is perfect, I think that we do the best we can. And if we're not continually learning and growing and trying to improve ourselves for our kids' lives, well, then I think that is just really sad. But there's a whole generation of people. And I love that my 11-year-old can come to me for anything, and that is something I will never change. And that's just beautiful, because you want it. I read something the other day that said, you know, I want my kids to be able to go, oh, you know, I'm in trouble, I can ring home, rather than, oh, I'm not ringing home because someone will, like one of the parents will kill me. It's like, you know, it's that whole, I get that, but then it grows up people who end up at a place where they don't know where they belong, they don't have safety, and they're continually trying to heal through the wounds that they have, that are causing them to then try to find something which helps them, which then becomes an addiction. And
yeah, definitely. Like, and going back to what Keisha said, like you're giving kids a voice, but you're also letting them be like who they want to be. Like everyone fluctuates of who they want to be, and stories go in and out and stuff like this. You know, I remember when I used to go to school and I would wear some horrendous outfits. I was matching, you know, like Ninja Turtle green with the poo emoji brown. Like it was, and that wasn't even school uniform. It just wasn't. Like I think it was like red and black or black and white or something stupid like that. And then my dad would look at me and be like, "Are you actually wearing that out?" I'm like, "I can play basketball in this, and I feel comfortable. I don't care what anyone's thinking." And he was like, "All right, my guy, let's go." And that was it. You know, and then as I got older, like obviously, you know, you can't let your kids run rampant, but you can give them enough rope to hang themselves. You know, so I would push to a point where I feel comfortable. But you know, when things went wrong, I knew it was like, man, like I'm gonna get my ass chewed out. But I know that, okay, I can call mum, I can call dad. There may be some wind whining and complaining afterwards, but you know, at least you know, let's take for where was it? I was driving back from Dubbo to Canberra, and I had my pop's car, and like the car was that old, and all the lights would come on for like, no reason, and I put oil in it, put water in it, did all this stuff, and was driving. And even when I put oil in it, like the light would still come on, so I was like, okay, it just is what it is. And then all of a sudden I had these bang, and I was like, what is that? Pulled over to the side of the road and realized that the engine had blown. And so I know absolutely nothing about cars. Let me say it again, I know nothing about cars.
Just one more time.
Yeah, I know nothing. So me being just the human that I am, you know, if you have fire, put it out with water. So I went and got water and then tried to spray it, but it's mixed with oil. So then I just pushed the flame on the grass, and it was literally, I want to say maybe like 3 to 4 acres. Like it burnt like this guy's property, and I was just, it was that bad that I called 000, and they were like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, I don't know. And they were like, I'll call you back in a sec. Boom. I was like, what do I do now? They called me back within like 30 seconds and like, we have you triangulated at this position. Don't move. Rescue was on the way. And I was like, that's when I knew like some government was on Big Brother kind of stuff for the first time ever. But then it was like, I called dad and he was like, what are you like? Okay, you're a little, first off, are you safe? And I was like, yeah, I'm safe. You're an idiot. Why did you put more oil in it? And I was like, I did. The car just doesn't work properly. It was like, well, it don't now. But like, you know, those big, and then there were other times where, you know, I was a kid and I was drifting out with, you know, one of my cousins, Tyrone, and I blew two tires out, one front, one back. No, it was only two, one front, one back.
Was it another time that you blew two more?
No. Yeah, I did blow it up 2 more different times. I'll call you about that.
Right, okay. Because I'm sure there was 4, but there was only 2 that time. Right, okay. Sorry, my bad.
It was 2 each time. But, you know, going off on a little bit of a tangent, but, you know, I knew that, like, okay, I didn't want to call you because I didn't want the ramifications, but I knew, like, hey, look, things are pretty bad. I can't deal with them myself. The people around me can't deal with it. The worst case scenario is call mum, and then, you know, I'll take the arse chewing and all this kind of stuff, and then, you know, got around all that kind of good stuff that I go through, and then we moved on from that. But
I didn't think you got in that much trouble, though. Let's be real.
Yeah, it's because we didn't tell Dad until now.
Yeah, that's right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm pretty sure it was like, we're just I'm not even gonna mention that. This just like never even happened. So
yeah, we had to move some money around from checkings to savings, and then savings and all this here. But, you know, it's like at the time I was like, man, like, who do I call? And Tyrone was the same thing. Like, he was like, bro, like, I can't call mum. Like, I'll get bashed. And I was like, I ain't calling Dad. Do you know my father? Do you know my father? I was like, and like, let's not get it twisted. Like, when you want to, you crack a whip. I was like, right, I'll call mum. And then I was like, that it just sinks into your stomach. But it was like, at the same time, it was like, hey, I know that, like, push comes to shove, like, hey, like, you got me when it needs to. And like, exactly the same as Keisha's kids now. Like, you know, you're setting that foundation up now for this, you know, things to reap later on down the track, when things will get a little bit hairy down there. And like, okay, who do I call? Okay, who I call mum? Like, mum's got me. You know, I can call like whoever, but there's really, once you start having that space to just hold, like, it's invaluable. I'm getting a drink. I'll be back in a second.
Right. Okay. Great. Thanks. Oh, hello, Miss Ray. Hello, Brad. Hello, Miss Christy. Miss Keisha, your kids sound very lucky to have somebody like you that they can come to. They will thank you for that later on. Miss Christy, I am working really hard to keep the conversation open with Zach so he knows I am always here for him no matter what. Oh, I love that, Christy. And let's be real about it as well, that yes, there is, you know, that you can call on your parents, but you also know that there is, that if you've done something stupid, like, let's be real, if you were doing burnouts and you blew 2 tires out, you're going to like be growled at for, like, what did you do? That's a really stupid. Yes, I know that. That's really stupid. Like, that's almost like the right that your parents have to go, yeah, that was a really dumb thing. Now, if you're in a space where you're not safe or whatever, you know, like, ring me, come and get you. Yep, no worries. That would be not even a thing. There's the difference between doing burnouts in your car and blowing out 2 tires when you're supposed to be in school, and going, well, that was a really dumb thing, rather than like, I'm here, my car's broken down, I've set fire to 3 acres.
Yeah, like the first things were always, are you safe?
Are you safe?
Yeah. It's like, that's right. Like, it's like, that's the only thing that you just had to tick off when I said that, you know. Are you safe? Yep, cool, done. You're an idiot. What are you doing? What's going through your mind? And like, you're a kid, so you don't understand. You just looking for that rush. Like, school is boring. It is. And I needed that adrenaline rush. So, you know, my cousin was like, well, let's go down here, and then we did it. But yeah, you're right. Like, it's those things where it's like, now that you're safe, let's talk about how much of a fool you are in this moment in time.
And I think it's also about how, because we're not taught this sort of stuff. So it's about how are we, because Christy's father took his grandmother's car and decided that he was going to drive it down the street. And his cousin was in the car and she dared him to change gears and he jumped the gutter and ran through a fence. Like he literally stopped about this far from the lounge room where these people were sitting, these two old people. They could have had a heart attack and died. So that whole, I remember my father saying to my mother, what the hell has he done? Like, what's wrong with him? And mum going, oh, you know, Lloyd, it's not that bad and stuff. Again, we're not taught to go, oh, so thank goodness we're safe. Thank goodness you're safe. You know, I understand that you're a young person. I understand that your brain is not fully formed yet. So your capacity to be able to have executive functioning is not online yet. So therefore, you're not going to make smart decisions because you're 18 and still like pretty much an idiot. So like we're not taught that. We're not taught how to go, oh, so next time maybe think about stuff. We're just caught in that natural thing of, so I remember, you know, again, getting that call and being with mum and she going, Michael, what have you done? And of course the old lady in the house is going, it's not that bad. Don't worry about it. It's all right. Like, sis, you just, auntie, like you're nearly like this far. Like, seriously. If they were sitting there watching television and looked through the window, because he went through a paling fence, so it was like two paling. So I could imagine what that was like for her sitting there looking out the window, seeing a car coming straight for them. Thank goodness he knew where the brake. Well, at some point he knew where the brake was and the accelerator, although I think he missed the accelerator or whatever. You know, so Riri said we didn't really do bad things. We were just mouthy. No, we did stupid things.
No,
and that's the whole thing. There's a whole range of things that mum doesn't know that we've done because she would not have coped with some of the things that we've done. You know, whereas there's this. I'm glad that you can say, oh, you know, can you come and fix it? Because, you know, if that was us, we'd have probably set fire to the car before we brought it home.
Yeah, and that ran through my head. Like, wow, let's set it on fire. We'll say that it was stolen, and then, you know, we'll just go.
So Mish Keisha said, my babies will always have me in their corner and they both will always know they can come to me no matter what, the good, bad and ugly, which is great. Yeah. And I guess that's what kids need to know, you know, like when you think about, and I read somewhere that you only need to be a good parent 30% of the time for you not to ruin your children. So I figure, like, even if we're like pushing 50, like we're doing okay, you know. But I think in some ways we've done something right with you because we always taught you that you could do anything you wanted.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's really that whole, some of those core values that we have, that we've given our kids that they can roll back on, you know, the funny stories and all that sort of stuff. But there's a couple of foundational pieces that have been laid that you can platform off. You know, so Keisha said kids need good parents, not perfect ones. Absolutely. Like we need ones who that they know that you can be there. Like you said, the good, the bad and the ugly. And Riri says we were too scared of mum to do anything. Oh, I'm sad for you, Miss Riri.
And then Jacqueline said it's doing life and learning lessons. There's really no other way to do it.
That's exactly right. You cannot, and we've said this last week, that you can't learn to swim from a book on the side of the pool.
And everyone's just winging it. Like that's one thing that, you know, I'm telling my little nieces and nephews as well. Like, yeah, like your parents aren't going to be perfect. Like no one here on earth, unless you come back again, like no one's been in their exact position before. So everyone's just trying to deal with the best thing that they do from past experiences.
That's exactly right. I mean, I'm a part of groups on Facebook now, and they're talking about, you know, conscious parenting and all that sort of stuff. That was, you know, the only thing that I knew about conscious when you were growing up is, you know, if you drunk yourself stupid, you were unconscious. Nobody talked about conscious parenting. Like, what is that? Are you awake? Are you, like, that was not even a thing. So now being at this, you know, we didn't go to parenting groups, you know, we didn't have play groups and stuff. I mean, when I had you, I coloured in the phone book for a year, you know, like nobody's thought about postnatal depression. Okay, it's not natural to colour in a phone book every day for a year. But again, it's just that whole, well, you know, that's just what you do. I don't remember much about that other than colouring in, and I could tell you all of the things that were in town from A to Z because I coloured it in, but there was none of that whole, play groups and supports and all of that sort of stuff that is very much there now. And I see, a lot of parents, who are, they've got the designer outfits and they're going for walks with their kids and they're doing all of this stuff. And I was just like, I don't remember getting out of track pants again for that year. So how are you going to be putting on Lycra and stuff? How's that happening? How can you get up and function and look all preppy on 3 hours sleep? What do you want? How does that? But people are doing literally the best they can, and breaking that whole generational cycle is about what are we doing for the next generation.
Yeah.
So
that's what really is cut you off. But I think that's when the monumental shift for you was happened when you started to change for that. What are you doing for me? And then it's like, okay, well, that's cool. What am I doing for my kid? But then it's like, what am I doing for my grandkids then? What's that 100-year plan when most people that I know, they're my circle's starting to change, but few people that I know are starting to be, they're just thinking about now, when they get some money in for, let's take the recent tax stuff that came in stimulus from the government, it was straight on them. It's like, well, hang on, why don't you buy or set it aside? Why don't you look at a funeral fund to leave and set your kids up with some money? Why don't you try and, start a small online business? Why don't you try something different that may change the course for you and your lineage? And then that's, it's not hard, it's not easy work, but it's just something different. That's what I noticed for you when things started to change. You have a comment?
Absolutely. Yeah, Miss Riri said, when I was nannying, I noticed for a lot of parents, they're more afraid of making mistakes, and I would tell them that the best you have to give is exactly what your child needs. Listen, your child just needs your time.
That's it. I said there was kids need presents, but not presents.
Mm.
So it's whoa, that kind of hit me, because it's true. Kids, as much as I love getting all the PlayStations and whatnot. It was baller when Dad was home and he wasn't going away doing basketball stuff. Not that there's any kind of trauma, but just having a look at when Dad was away, kids just miss their parents. It's just it just is what it is. And like Riri said, kids, parents are too oh my God, what if I make a mistake? Show your kids that you're human, that it's okay to make mistakes. One of the biggest things that I found that when I was watching a thing for Kobe Bryant, I think I may have heard it somewhere else. It's he would often ask, what did you fail at today? The parents would say that. It's well, it's just switching that idea of failure up. And I guess that, we can do that to our kids, where we don't need to be perfect. From things failing is what builds hardships and build resistance. So if we can continue to build on the mistakes that we made, it shows our kids hey, I may fail 9 times out of 10, but yet on that 10th time, hey, I could win. I could get that big break, or hey, I'm going to have to keep pushing it, until we're out of 20 this time, out of 30, 50, whatever it is. Just continue to build, get back up and build resilience, not resistance.
Absolutely. 100% true. And because we're our kids' first teachers, they will model us.
Yep.
We teach them exactly how they're going to be when they grow up. So if we teach them that failing is okay because that's what you do, which means you're trying a lot of new stuff, well, then how great is that, as opposed to, I need to do things perfectly, so therefore I'm not going, if I can't do it perfect, I'm not even going to attempt it. So that's So Miss Keisha said it's also okay to apologise to your kids when you muck up and talk to them about the muck up. This allows your kids to see that mum, dad also makes mistakes. And
I love that. Absolutely love that. Like it just, yeah, like dropping back on like it shows kids that as much as their kids see parents as these like superhero figures, it also shows like man, like also even more superhero figures because they make mistakes and then they get back on the wagon and then they still go hard for whatever they're after. Like so having that, okay, son, daughter, whatever it is, like, you know, this is what happened, but you know, we're not gonna stay here forever. This is what I'm gonna do, this is what you're gonna do, and then we're gonna go from there.
yeah, absolutely. And it's about, again, because it's about teaching and that open communication to go, I'm doing the best I can here, and I may not have done that well, but I did try, and it didn't work, or you know what, I'm going to do something different because I know that doesn't work. And Miss Christie said it takes a village to raise our kids. They need their aunties and uncles and families around. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
most definitely. You know, I think it's great for the kids that, you know, they've got uncle around that they can talk stupid to and
like it's go.
Miss Reva said, I don't think it's that failing is okay. It's more letting them see that failure happens, but it doesn't define you. Courage is the ability to get back up when you fall. Yeah, I agree with you. But I think that we do fail. I've tried some things. Oh my Lord. I tell you, some of the harebrained schemes I had around business and stuff, some of the parenting ideas I had, like I was a nutcase. And okay, so you don't have to back me up on that. You can be like, no, Ma, he wasn't. No, okay, great, good on you. But it's about showing them that, like, this is just a humanness, that, you know, we don't want to see our parents as not human.
Yeah.
You know, and being able to look at them and go, they're doing the best they can. And for us to be able to go, and so what does that mean for me in that? Because sometimes parents who are doing the best they can still means that what you need, they fall short in providing that.
Yeah.
So they may well be doing the best they can, but if they're still not providing you with what you need and they're never going to be able to do that, then it's about you looking at, so where else can I get that?
Yeah.
So it comes back to Christy talking about it takes a village. Absolutely. Because if they're not getting one thing from you, then they can go and get it from somebody else, and they'll get something from uncle that they can't get from dad or mum or, you know, auntie, because only uncle brings that particular thing. And so, you know, it very much. Miss Riri says, is it falling or failing? I can't even see. Failing is a normal part of life. Bill Gates didn't build computers perfectly. His first. Oh, I love that. How many times do we have a 1.0, 2.0, 3.0? Like Microsoft, they will put stuff out and they will tell you, we need to do a thing update because we need to fix a bug. They just like throw that shit out there and see how it goes. Oh my God, sorry, made that wrong. Don't do that. You know, like, and even, what's his lads died? Steve Jobs was talking about, remember when Apple used to be, couldn't get viruses? And then they were like, oh, you did not just say they can't. So then they put it out, and then he had to be like, oh, no, sorry, that's not correct. You can get viruses. Disregard all the stuff that I was saying.
Yeah, but yeah, like 100%. Like you need to, kids need to see their parents fail at some point, and then I think parents need to also, on the flip side of that, is say, look, even though I failed here, I'm not starting again because I'm starting with the lessons that I learned from failure. So we can, like, it's not falling here. It's like, okay, we didn't make it here, but I'm not falling down to here. I'm staying here because I still have those life lessons. And those lessons I learned, but we can continue this to build. Like, you look at all those, you know, business moguls and stuff like that, with how many deals have gone through and things didn't work. Like, they just didn't drop back down. It's like, okay, you know, that may have fell through, so they still have to keep tracking on to the next thing. And then, you know, that's how an overnight sensation works, but it's like 11 years in the process.
That's exactly right. Oh my God, they're an overnight sensation. No, they haven't. They've been slogging it there for the last 15 years. They've been crying and rocking in the corner. But yeah, no, it looks like they just turned up overnight. It's like, get away from me. That's just not even how it goes. But let's just focus on right now. Let's not talk about, and if you have a look at any of those people who have been successful, all of them practically started in a shed. Amazon started in a garage. Microsoft, Apple,
Google.
I think Benzo. Who's the dude with the car? Elon Musk. Wasn't he in the garage at one? Like they were all doing little time. They were blowing things up, and
I'm pretty sure he was floating around space because I'm certain that he's not human.
Right. Okay. Well, that's for a whole other different conversation because we're not going to aliens. He's not an alien, really.
Yeah. Well, maybe not alien, but at least like he just don't function like a human. He just doesn't. Have you seen him eat? I haven't seen him eat.
Well, but it's the same as like Gary Vee.
No, he seems more human than Elon Musk. But yeah,
right,
Gary
okay.
Vee.
Well, I have to be honest with you. I have never heard an interview by Elon Musk. I know he does the Tesla cars, and I know he's trying to send people into space, or it's got a spaceship or something.
It's like everyone. It's like who he talks to is just. He's like a 50-year-old trying to explain the conversation to a 5-year-old. So he will have this conversation here, and then he'll be like, he'll need to look away, and like you can like see the cogs ticking over in his head because dude is like he's built by someone. But yeah, like he's just so ridiculously switched. Like I just don't understand. I don't think he's human. I just don't.
Yeah. He's probably, and he might not be. There's a whole other level of human.
I thought you didn't want to go there.
No, well, we're not going to go there because when you started it, you opened the door to it.
I did, but don't go there because yeah.
Good on you. So you open the door and then you close it straight away real fast.
Yeah, I got it. We're close to wrapping up. I don't want to go down this route because this is a long conversation for another time.
So how is everybody feeling? Does anybody have any comments, any questions? How is everybody on Facebook? We're all on lots of the Facebook ones. How's everybody feeling? Does anybody have any questions? Any last comments? What are your plans for the week?
What are my plans for the week? Just go back to work. And nothing's really. That's kind of where it is at the moment. I'm trying not to chase shiny objects, but I understand that there's a market out here for certain things. So I'm trying not to. I'm slowly going in that process of what do I need to do to have that without it compromising my already existing business, because that would mean that I would own 2 businesses. So it's not like, man, let's head this way. It's like, well, can this help me in my already existing business, which it can, and 2, can this be another form of revenue in worst case scenario, knock on wood, that Demos Boxing fails, then I can pick up a second business. But like everything.
Demos Boxing's not going to fail because it's going really well, and you need to stay with your focus in that, because we have this thing about chasing bright, shiny objects. You know how we talk, this circles back around to parenting, because you may have got that from me.
Maybe.
There is a slight possibility that that's a little bit of me, tiny bit, chasing the bright, shiny things and being creative.
And the whole SMART process is, Dad, where I don't just drop everything and run after it. It's putting those policies and procedures into place where it's like, okay, cool. Yep, there's a market for it. Is anyone going to fill it anytime soon? Let's have a look at around. Likelihood, no. So let's step and put small procedures in place now so that when the demos boxing, when I'm able to take a small step back, it's not really a step back. I'm just stepping across, and then I can build something else up. So I'm trying to build a table. This is the second leg that's getting built. So yeah, what's your plans for the week?
I'm going to say my thesis. Story of my life.
True.
I'm 3 months away from submitting. I swear to God, it's the longest 3 months of my whole entire life. It feels like it's been 7 years.
Yep.
And I feel like my whole life is in like a holding pattern. And so it's a love-hate relationship that I have. Although it's not really a hate, but it's annoying. So, sis, come be my study buddy. No, I've seen the way you write, and I've seen like how, and you're just too good. So, no, you'll show me up. I can't do it. I've seen. Oh my God, like you're just way too good. I'm not there yet. So, I've seen how you do stuff, and it's so good. So that's going to be my week. Doing that. I've got some clients that I'm seeing. Probably it. I would say it is Good Friday this Friday.
Are you coming home? Yeah. Where are you going? I think I might go back.
Why would we go home?
I don't know. I don't know what I've said. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
What did you do to your nose?
So I had a pimple here.
Right, and so you just scratched it, and so now there's a big scab there.
Yeah.
Okay, great. It's much like that thing on my neck where I see there when I scratch it, because that comes up every time I eat too much dairy, and I've discovered those little tiny ice cream cones. Oh, you can only get them at IGA. They are they've got hundreds and thousands, and they're just like the choc tops that you buy in the cinemas. Don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah, come home and see us all, honey. I would love to come home and see you, but it's Dubbo.
Wow.
You know, if you could be somewhere else than Dubbo, I would come home. But it's Dubbo.
Yeah, I don't know. Definitely have something to think about whether I want to get away, whether I still run classes Monday and Friday. Like, I get bored over the weekend when I don't do things.
I know. You need to come visit me in Port Macquarie. Aren't you underwater? Like, is the roads? Are you okay? Like, did the floodwaters get you? I hope your family's all right. We probably should have started with that. I hope nobody's been impacted by the floods and stuff. Well, you're on the internet, so I'm assuming that you must be not floating down. I was going to say floating down the sink, floating down the river. I'm not, but the town is. Okay, well, probably give that a bit of a miss until we can actually drive downtown rather than like need a boat. But hoping that you're okay. Miss Christie's feeling the love. You know that there's nothing but love in my heart. I'm on high ground. Thank God that you're on high ground. Oh my goodness. Because I know that there's a whole lot of people who are not okay, and I think your mum was also having a bit of trouble. So I'm hoping that everybody is okay.
Yeah.
So you probably need to run classes because you get bored, and you do. I know, and people need to be able to do stuff because they get bored as well. Because everybody's got to guts themselves. Mum and they've been evacuated. Oh, are they okay? I hope the animals are okay. I hope they're okay. I hope the kids are okay. That's just so yuck. Sending everybody lots of love. I'm glad they're okay.
Yeah, I'll probably end up just running classes. Truth be told.
Yeah. I'm still waiting on videos.
Yeah. I'm getting. Or can you get that sent through that camera?
Yes, I shall do that. Ellen, come and get the kids when you're bored. Christy said, get the kids when you're bored.
Yeah, well, they're meant to be coming down soon too, so trying to get everyone involved and thinking about actually doing something for the gym at some point. This East is kind of like a big thing, so everyone's spending a lot of money. So maybe a couple of weeks or so, just I don't know, have like a little outing where everyone can meet everyone, so that everyone knows everyone at the gym.
So Miss Riri said, go out scouting for the next great fighter that you can train.
Yeah, but it's true. There's a whole lot of different factors that come into that. Like I could scout, and like because I know the game, and I kind of know what to look for a little bit. But one thing that determines a fighter is their work ethic. Some people, and like I've seen this, and I've seen few videos of gone around of where like there's big brawls and stuff, and people who are meant to be on a different level, they're still in their being around those kind of people. So it's really, I guess not really just for fighters, but for everyone in general. Like if you want to be at the next level, you can't be hanging around at that level where you're still doing those, you can get caught up in brawls and fights and stuff like that. Like let's have and it's the only one I can come to mind, like NRL and stuff like that, where some people are at that level, but yet then they go back into their hometown and communities and they get in fights and brawls. Like what happens to that NRL contract then? Like it's gone, it's a wrap. And you're back there, like Steve Harvey said that you can't help broke people by being one of them. Like saying, for those who.
Huh? I know Miss Riri said you're looking for a good foundation, not a built house.
Yeah, that's it. Like I'm looking at land to then build upon.
Mm.
Big facts to see. I dead set wish she lived closer, because I would see her like every other week.
Yeah.
But she lives on the other side of the world, just being all fabulous and dope with herself. So continue to do you, sissy.
Yeah. So is there anything else you want to say before we wrap it up? Thanks everybody for being here and hanging out with us and stuff.
Yeah, no, that was it. Big facts and big love for everyone who showed up and doing their thing. And yeah, if you want to say what you loved, jump on the comments. But if you don't, send me a message on 0467 885757. Tell me what you loved. Tell me what you didn't. That's my own personal number, and then from there we'll chuck that up on the next episode. And I think this is maybe like, I don't know. Let's start off next episode with actually finding out what number we're up to and going from there. Because once we have a library and we have some guests, we can go, oh, that was like on episode 120.
Whatever.
Yeah. Instead of being like, yeah, we had that somewhere.
Yeah, that's in there somewhere. Absolutely. We're also interested to know, you may have noticed that we have dropped our time down to an hour.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think about that, because a couple of weeks back we were here for like 2 hours, and God bless your souls, there was a couple who actually stuck with us for the whole 2 hours. But we were thinking, we don't want to, it's a Sunday night. We know that you probably have a life and that there's stuff you want to do. I know that someone was having it on in the background while they were cooking dinner. So are you happy with an hour? Do you want us to go for a little bit longer? Miss Keisha says, you guys always put a smile on my face, and tonight's talk was more home for me than you realised. Oh, love, I love you. You are so amazing. You're just kicking goals and changing lives, and your kids are so lucky because they have a kick-ass mum like you. So, yeah, let's give us your feedback on it if you want us to cover certain topics as well. Because our whole family, and Christy's on here, God bless her soul, and like we just talk about stuff in our family. Like we just that's part of the contract they signed when we all came here, was like, you know what, we're actually going to put it all out there. So
like that's it. But get used to it now, Christy, because once it blow up, it's going to be on national and international stage. So just be mindful of that.
Yeah.
I like the longer ones, but they're obviously not for everyone. So we will be putting them on all podcasts and like music streams, so that way you legit can just listen to us talk stupid for hours on end. If the 1 hour is not enough for some people, which isn't obviously like the longer ones from them. So
I wonder if we'd be able to, from StreamYard, put it straight onto.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'll have to have a look. Surely you'd have to be able to.
Christy, get Zach around so he can help with this, because that kid is a straight genius when it comes to this kind of stuff. So.
Okay. Miss Christy said, I love that you talk about it all. No one else is talking about anything. Like we're happy to talk about. And I think that's part of the thing, you know, like let's, because the only way that people can lift the lid on it, I suppose, is for somebody to go first and go, you know what, this is what's really going on. Because we're not the only family that it's happening in every single family. We just happen to be shining like the light on it and talking about it. And so that people then know like what it's really like. And so we're okay to do that. I'm assuming that it's fine for the others, although they don't watch our stuff, so it doesn't really matter.
I guess it's fine because they don't watch us. But yeah, like it's as much as we think it's like just an our family thing, it's really not. Like some families are way more dysfunctional than us, but yet they manage through the chaos. And then some aren't dysfunctional and they just don't talk to each other. Like that's just their thing. So as I said before, like everyone's just winging it, and we're just like, hey, let's just put it out there and show people that we're for real winging it. This is what happens in our family, and if you can relate, dope as shit. If not, homie, that's cool too. Just go from there.
Yeah, and I think people like the normalcy of it. That it's like normality. I think that they like that. So it's like, oh my gosh, that is so me. Oh, I'm not the only person in the world who's going through that. Oh, wow, look, you've got exactly the same thing as me. Oh my God, I know. Like that's what happens when my mother drives me crazy, and you know, all that sort of stuff. And I think that that's helpful when people can match that to go, oh, you know, because like we're not going to open the topic up now, but you know, the reasons why we have addiction is because we need connection. So like if we're connecting and going, you know what, I have all of this kind of dysfunction and I have all of these wounds in my family, but I want to talk about it, and then you can go, oh my God, that's exactly the same. Like that's me. Let's look at how we can help each other to go through that. You know, then I think that's a helpful thing, because we don't want to be feeling as though we're the only one. I was going to say sailing alone in that boat, but it's probably too soon to be talking about boats.
On that note, we're going to end things there. I have nothing.
We're not perfect, as you can tell. But that was okay.
So I'm getting off because I don't want to get caught up in this cancel culture.
That was funny. You have to say that was good. Okay, I'm sorry about that.
All right,
Oh, that's
big,
fine.
big love for everyone who tuned in. And just one last time, 0467885757. If you want to send through a message and tell us what you did like, what you didn't, or just any kind of general inquiries. So much love for you guys here.
Make sure you share, tag, like.
All that good stuff. All right, team. Laters.